Welcome to another episode of Simply Be, Simply Me with your host, me, Nakeisha Smith. I think you guys may notice a little difference in our backgrounds, and that is our new setup. So we went on a little mid-season break, and during that time is some things that I wanted to change and tweak a little bit, and one of the things was the setup. We're definitely going to go back to the other setup, and you will see the back shiny backdrop and all of the other fun pieces we had before. But this time, I wanted to just add in a little more color to the mix as we move forward. So, thank you all for staying with me on this journey and, you know, supporting me and your feedback. It has been amazing. It has been wonderful. It has been eye opening, to say the least, as far as some of the topics we have discussed, the amount of people who have sent messages, especially pertaining to the adoption episode. That's part two, will be airing in the next couple of weeks, and that has taken on a different life of its own, and I'm so happy with that. I'm so inspired, not just from the messages, but also the individuals that will actually be on the part two and hearing their stories and sharing, one, why my story inspired them to now share their story, as well as we have a couple of episodes that we're going to discuss where we are discussing mental health. And that's another episode that I'm proud of individuals who will be a part of that for sharing their stories, and also a little emotional as we touch on that because it's a big topic for a lot of us, and I feel like we don't discuss it enough. That's just some of the things that we have coming down the pipeline. I have today, I am shooting the episode titled Finding Your Purpose. And the reason why I chose that is because it just spoke to me about finding your purpose, and that has so many layers and questions that go with that. Once you find your purpose, or knowing what your purpose is, and do people ever find their purpose? Does everyone ever find their purpose while they're here on Earth? So I think for me, I have found my purpose. I think as you grow up, you have this theory for women sometimes that our purpose is to get married and have children, and that's part of our purpose, but it's not really who we are, at our core. And when I think about my purpose, and I think about what truly brings me joy and happiness and uplifts my spirits, is genuinely helping others, and helping others in so many ways without making them feel like they owe you something in return. Helping others and giving back, and doing that in a way where, again, no one has to feel the pressure to say, well, you gave me X, Y, and Z, or you donated money, and they feel obligated to you. No, I genuinely just like doing those things and helping people in the process. And what I mean by that is, if I can pour into someone and help them from an emotional standpoint, I'm going to do that, and they don't owe me anything in return. If I can help someone financially, they don't owe me anything in return. If I can help someone spiritually, I can do that, and they don't owe me anything in return. Those things, for me, I feel it's part of my purpose. Showing people kindness, showing people they are loved, and showing people that, you matter. I think all of those things are a part of my purpose, and it makes me happy. And I don't know. I don't know if it's, I've always been a person to want to help people, like give back and, provide comfort if I can. But I think now more so when I sit in speaking to God, like, what is my purpose and what do you want for my life, the overall bigger picture is to genuinely help people, but also when helping people, I'm shining a light to show them what God looks like and what, you know, His grace and His mercy looks like for me and what it could look like for them based on where they are in their lives. I really thought getting into real estate that it was just going to be really just houses and helping people, and I realized more and more every day real estate was just the vessel to other things in my life that God had for a greater purpose for me to do and pour into other people or connecting other people. And I know that to be true now, especially that adoption episode that I aired was just sharing my story about me. I didn't expect it to take on a different light of its own. And I know I spoke earlier on that episode airing later on, but it's just hearing these women's stories and hearing their some pain, somehow the pain that they were able to overcome, hearing from individuals who gave their children up for adoption and why, hearing from individuals who are part of the adoption system as far as counselors and what that role plays and what it looks like being a counselor for someone who is adopting a child or someone who was adopted. Hearing women say, hearing your story and watching your podcast has inspired me to want to share my story. So it's things like that that I know that it's so much bigger than me, and it's about connecting people to one another and pouring into one another and just coming together in a space where we can support each other from all walks of life. And that adoption episode that will air in a couple of weeks will really help you guys understand what I mean by that. Because I know I say, women supporting women, especially in real estate and all of these spaces, is what I, want to do in my world of real estate. But that adoption episode opened up women supporting women in even other areas of life. And it was just a prime example of, I would say at least 4 women are now connected, inspired by each other, motivated by each other. Now new friendships have been formed. Now new understanding, a new sisterhood, a new community for some of these women who didn't have communities before. But that adoption episode has now opened up a world of happiness, vulnerability, love, and compassion for women. And that was something that I never even imagined when sharing just my story. So that's why, for me, I can say definitely as I move forward in this new space and journey of my life, and not just with this podcast, just understanding more of what my purpose is, I believe that I have found my purpose, and I will continue to find new elements of my purpose as I continue to navigate through this space. We have a mental health episode that's coming up, and that is a different community of women and people who are now connected because they are sharing their stories based on something I said from the adoption episode or something that I said in other episodes that have now allowed us, and again, a completely different group of women are now together, connected, feeling inspired, feeling grateful, feeling thankful, and feeling like they're not alone, and feeling like they have a community now just from me starting this podcast. And it's all part of what I wanted for people men and women to just simply be authentically who they are without feeling judged, without feeling as if they were maybe misunderstood, without feeling like they're alone and they don't have anyone. This podcast has now opened up a world for these women. And when I see it, I read the messages, I hear your messages, I speak to the women afterwards, FaceTime, Zoom, phone calls. It just confirms what God has been telling me to do all along. And I am beyond excited to see what He has in store as we continue to just navigate in this space of shooting these podcast episodes. There are not enough words to even. I wish I had all the episodes to just show you guys now. I wish I had the guest here with me now for you guys to fully understand what I mean about this excitement for these episodes to come, and for you to see what I mean by every day I understand more and more what my purpose is and what I'm here to do and why I'm here to do it. It has nothing to do with me just wanting to just say, hey, Nakeisha has a podcast. No, I wanted a podcast with a purpose. I wanted a podcast with I wouldn't say a mission, but that's the only word that comes to mind right now, a mission to have people come together. I wanted a podcast, again, for people to be authentically who they are. And I feel that this is coming full circle for me, because now it has definitely done that so far. And I can't imagine what it's going to do as we continue. So thank you all again for being a part of this with me and supporting me and staying on this journey with me. There is more to come. So I know I have spoken about finding my purpose and knowing what my purpose is, or at least just starting this journey on finding my purpose. But I feel like for those of you who are still on this journey of finding your purpose, I don't want you to give up. I want you to stay prayerful, if that's what you do, whether you meditate. Again, I never want to disrespect anyone's religion, but for me, I stayed in constant prayer on understanding my purpose, because I think for a very long time, I may have known what my purpose was, but I didn't necessarily know how to start that journey or start the path leading me towards my purpose. So if you are not sure, pray. I would say journal a lot, connect with people, but not many people, a few people who are on this purpose journey path with you, and come together to try to maybe figure it out together. But it could be you may have to walk this journey alone with finding your purpose. And I say that to say, I, again, have always known, I believe, what my purpose was, but it wasn't clear. And when I say it wasn't clear, it was blurry, because I may have been in spaces, or I may have been surrounded by environments or things or people that God felt like, hey, while you're in these spaces, I can't show you the clear path to your purpose. So there were times in my life, and even now, where I had to change certain environments, or it felt like I may have been walking alone in this path, whether it was friendships that I lost that I thought I would have forever, whether it was business opportunities, whether it was partnerships. It's so many different things that I can see clearly now that God moved certain pieces out of his way. And once he moved those certain pieces out of his way, which was blocking me from fully seeing clearly the purpose that he had for me, I was then able to move forward. in the space of where he wanted me to go. It doesn't mean that I was afraid and I fully understood it, but there's moments in my life where I can clearly see that if God didn't move certain things around for me, he didn't rearrange the puzzle pieces that I was trying to put together on what he had for my life, and he put the puzzle pieces of the puzzle together the way he knew it needed to be. It involved removing some things out of my life, and now because of that I can see things clearly. So you may be in a space sometimes where you feel alone and you feel like you're walking this journey alone to find your purpose and get on that path, but it is okay. It's all a part of God's plan. And once you start to move forward in that purpose, you will see that things are fully aligning according to his will and his purpose. You will see that even some of the things that he may have removed out of your life temporarily, they will come back to your life, but now they come back to your life in a different setting. They come back into your life with different boundaries that you or the other individuals may have placed, or they come back into your life in a more brighter setting, in a more brighter space, and then maybe you have inspired that person who's now brought back into your life to walk into a greater purpose. They may come a time where you are realigned with certain opportunities that doors were closed for you that you really, really wanted. You may have really wanted this particular job. You may have really wanted this particular endorsement or speaking engagement or partner or whatever it is that you may have wanted in your life, and that door closed. It closed for a reason. God felt like you weren't ready for it. It wasn't time, or maybe the people on the other side of that door were not right for you, and he needed to close those doors for you. But once you start to see clearly his purpose, those doors or new doors start to open for you, and then you can understand this is why this happened. One of the things I know for sure, and I speak about it, I think in maybe episode 1 or 2, I know for a fact if I would have done real estate 8 years ago, when I really, really wanted to do it and I felt like I had a passion for it, I know that I would have failed. And it wasn't the time for me. God didn't feel like it was time for me to do it then. But now, 8 years later, he says, go for it. And I go for it. And now it has taken on a different life that has led to other things such as Simply Be, Simply Me podcast, and me inspiring people and helping people, and me connecting with other women who also inspire me and motivate me. That's for God's greater purpose. That's part of my purpose. But if I would have tried to force it 8 years ago, the purpose of what he had set for me wouldn't have turned out what it is today. And again, I can't wait to see what it's going to turn into later. So stay on your path of finding your purpose. Don't give up. It takes years. I think I told you guys how old I am, so I'm not going to say it again, but it has taken me many decades to find my purpose. And I say that to give you inspiration to know you are not going to go to sleep today and wake up tomorrow and find your purpose. That's just not how it works. You have to take time. Sometimes it also takes healing yourself from, whether it's your past trauma, healing yourself from your own self-doubt or whatever it is you may be struggling with. Because sometimes we are the individuals that stop our own purpose, and sometimes it's not the people surrounding us. So it could be some self-reflection on yourself. It could be some alone time for yourself that's needed. You may need to heal a broken heart. You may need to heal, again, emotional trauma, physical trauma, whatever it is. It could be you need to heal yourself first. And once you are completely healed, God will reveal that to you, and then you will start to see glimpse of light of this is my purpose. And even then, you'll start to say, wait, is this it? And I'm only speaking from experience, because I don't know how many times when I really started to feel like, okay, this is for sure feels like my purpose, because you feel different on the inside. I still would go back to God and be like, is this what it is? Is this what you want me to do? And if I'm being honest, I did it even 2 days ago. And I was doing my prayer meditation and I was speaking to God, and I was like, God, do you really want me to do this? Is this really part of my purpose? And feeling like I don't know that this is part of my purpose. I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do. And had 2 phone calls that day. And the first phone call, definitely, when I was speaking to the person and the things that they were telling me as to why they were now doing the things that they were doing, it was basically something that they have seen from me, and it inspired them. And it made them feel safe. And speaking to me, I make them feel safe. And then when I spoke to someone else later that day, when they expressed what they expressed and they shared a life experience that they had with me, it left me speechless. And we both were just on FaceTime, just quiet for a few seconds. And I remember saying to this individual, I realize speaking to you now, this person was supposed to be on the podcast. And I said, we weren't connected for you to be on the podcast. We are connected for other reasons. And we discussed those reasons. And she agreed and said, yes, I would agree with you. And we discussed how we're going to move forward and navigate the new female connection and community we have in reference to her sharing her story with me. But at the end of it, she said to me, I want you to know you're really connected. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And she said, I was having a conversation with God on Saturday pertaining to why didn't I hear back pertaining to certain things that were connected to you. And then I ended up getting an email the next day, and it was pertaining to you. And during that time, God had told her, like, just be patient. Don't assume and don't make up stories as to why she didn't reach out to you yet or she didn't get back to you. She said she was going down this rabbit hole of all these negative thoughts as to why I didn't reach out to her just yet. And she remembers God saying to her, it could simply be that she's just busy and she has a lot of things going on, but she's going to get to you. And she said the next day I got the email. So I know that was God's way somehow, but now even speaking to you more and hearing what I shared with her, what I shared with her about other individuals who were a part of more of a larger group of a podcast episode that we have. And once she shared her stuff, it was clear. The purpose for us connecting had nothing to do with the podcast. The podcast just led us to connect with each other, but that wasn't the purpose. And the purpose is so much greater and so much bigger. And I am grateful to God that I was able to bless her, and grateful to God that she was able to see something new within herself, and she was able to understand her path and her journey. And at some point you guys will see her and meet her, just not right now, because like I said, we discovered that now is not the time for her to be on a podcast based on what she shared. But I'm just grateful that I was able to share joy, kindness, happiness, and now just a connection and bond and friendship now with her. And that's the purpose of life. That's part of my purpose and part of Simply Be Simply Me. So stay focused, stay prayed up. Your purpose is there. You got to tap into it, and you also just have to do whatever it is that God calls you to do, and you got to do it fearfully. So now we are going to do a Q&A of the Simply Be podcast. You know, I answer these questions, and I typically don't know what the questions are, so I'm a little nervous. So let me see what this question is. All right, so now we are answering the question, and the question is, what are your hobbies and how did you get into them? I don't really know that I have a hobby when I think about it. I can tell you the things that I like, and I like reality TV, surprisingly. I like all real estate shows pertaining to reality TV. I just finished watching Selling the OC. I like I like suspenseful movies, not gory movies, and suspenseful shows. I love shows um, that are connected to law. And the reason why I'm hesitant because I don't know if I've ever shared this. Not recently, I always, from the age of 9 or 10, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a lawyer. So I love shows pertaining to law, and I used to watch them all the time when I was a kid. I love Succession. That was my show that I just look forward to watching when it came on, and I was really sad when it went off. I love, which I just watched last year, I think, Suits for the first time. And I know it was out many years ago, but I don't know. I was probably being a mom of 3 little ones back then, so I don't know how I missed that, but I absolutely love Suits. So I guess my hobbies would just be watching TV when I can and just relaxing and in some comfortable clothes, sweatpants and loungewear, and that's it. But now this question makes me realize that maybe I do need to get a hobby because I don't know. Okay, I'm behind the scenes people. Do you guys have hobbies? Do you have a hobby? I'm going to say Agent 1. Secret Agent 1, you have a hobby? Would you like to share? Oh, that makes me a little nervous. All right, Secret Agent number 2, right here. Do you have a hobby? Okay, I love how everybody's saying they do, but they're not saying what the hobby is. But
I like to bowl.
bowl?
Bowling.
Okay, Secret Agent number 3.
Basketball.
That shit, really? Okay, Secret Agent number 4. I know this is new for you because you're like, wait, why are we talking to secret agents? And by the way, this is someone who is behind the scenes for the first time. So, Secret Agent 4. Do you have a hobby?
Yeah, yeah, I do. And that is actually fashion. Since like I was in elementary school, I would always hop right on the computer, play little fashion games and whatnot. So I like looking at inspo, like and putting things together, and I don't know.
Okay.
And also I took sewing classes as well, so I've learned how
All
to
right now.
sew from scratch.
Okay. So, we're going to go back to Secret Agent number 1. What is your hobby?
I have a few. But my hobbies include, like, I love trying new restaurants.
Okay.
I love mixology, so, like, finding, like, drink recipes and coming up with, like, different cocktails.
Did I ever tell you I was a bartender?
You did.
Okay, well, yes. Well,
And
I used to be a bartender.
So I like coming up
In my younger years, not now. Like many years ago. I was a good bartender though.
still make a mean old fashioned.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I could make a lot of good drinks still.
Yeah, and now that I'm not doing it for payment for the most part, but I love coming up with different choreography. So dance is a hobby for me.
All right, so I don't know. The one thing I like doing, I like to journal. I don't know that that would be a hobby though. But now, you guys are going to make me have to go out and figure out what my hobby is. So,
Or discover a new hobby. That can be
I don't even think I have a hobby. Now that I think about it, when I hear what you guys, none of those things at all.
Ooh, so thing for you,
Oh gosh.
by the end of this podcast season, discovering a new hobby.
Okay, and it's on camera now, so that means I really have to do it. So, I know how many more episodes we have. That's going to wrap up this season. So, the last episode, or maybe the second to last episode. Because I know the episodes is coming up. And some of them are a little deep to be like, oh, here's my hobby in this episode. Like, no. The topics, I should say.
Or it could be a way to kind of
You're right. Okay, so
The question,
okay,
back to the question
okay,
of the influence.
all
So
right.
what's your new hobby?
All right, so stay tuned. I'll be back with what my hobby is. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in to Simply Be Simply Me. Please continue to like and support and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Watch, comment, like, all of those fun things because it continues to just not only grow the podcast, but just also grow in the community. And also, you liking or subscribing may actually help someone else without even realizing it. So, thank you so much. And continue to send in your questions to the Simply Be Simply Me Instagram page, or you can email us as well. Thank you again, and I am looking forward to sharing the next episodes that are coming to you guys. I am very proud and excited, and I pray that it inspires you all to continue to be great and amazing and simply be authentically who you are. And remember to always be a blessing to others. Thank you.